Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming at you with an updated deck profile that has been long overdue, and today I'll be showing you guys my anti-meta Chain Beat deck. So starting off with the Dodger monsters, we have the 3 Wind-Up Rabbit and the 2 Evil Sworn Thunderbird. The reason I do the 2 Thunderbird and the 3 Wind-Up Rabbit is with Thunderbird, he can only dodge away once per turn, which means if you do have multiple Thunderbirds on field, you can only dodge away one at a time. And then his effect has to respond to another card effect to dodge away, whereas a Wind-Up Rabbit you can activate at any time, even at the start of a chain, except of course during the damage step. So Rabbit's just a more reliable, safer dodger monster, but Thunderbird is still nice for being 1650, and then when it comes back from its dodging effect, it'll bump up by 300 to 1950, which is pretty big. Then for one of monsters, we have the 1 Brotherhood of Firefist Bear. This is a card that I was highly considering cutting, but just overall it's a really nice toolbox card for the deck. Being able to send a 10-key to the graveyard to pop a monster can be really useful, especially mid to late game when your opponent's setting monsters, yeah, especially ones with high defense, to try to stall out for time. And it also helps clear up your back row, since 10-key can really clog up your back row a good bit. And then being able to search a 10-key when it inflicts battle damage is really good as well, since you can of course activate 10-key to then search a rabbit, which just keeps your monster flow going. Then we have the 1 Banshee of the Radiance and the 1 Fossil Dino to round out the monsters. Just really good anti-meta monsters overall. If the deck was more focused on them, or if I wasn't playing Card Demise, I'd obviously be playing more, but I want to keep the monster count low. It's at 8 total monsters, just to make sure I don't draw multiple monsters too often with Card Demise. So that's it for monsters. For spells, we have the Triple Card Demise. I've already talked enough in previous deck profiles about how great this card is. You've seen now this is the 7th different deck profile I posted with Demise, so you know how much I love this card. And it's just really amazing how much consistency this card adds and how much power this card adds to what used to be really just old, rogue, irrelevant decks like these, and just actually makes them pretty relevant again. Makes them kind of scary for the meta right now. Then we have the Triple Pod Duality that supports the Demise. This deck doesn't really special summon at all, especially now that we don't play Black Garden, which you'll see why I don't here in a second. But yeah, you never special summon. Just gain to add a monster or add a key like Floodgate or just back row or combo piece is just really, really good. Then we have the 1 Upstart Goblin for some added consistency. Next we have the Triple Moon Mirror Shield. This is one of the reasons why I don't feel like I have to play Black Garden in the deck anymore. Just being able to equip this to one of your monsters and make it to where it can get over anything in battle, whether it's a high attack monster, whether it's a set defense position monster, or a monster with high defense, it's just always able to beat over it. And it's actually really good with the Dodger monsters, the Wind-Up Rabbit and Thunderbird, because if you activate their effects to dodge away, and you don't have, like, say, Macro or Banisher on the field, this will go to the graveyard and then activate its effect to pay 500. You can put it right back on top, and then once those Dodger monsters come back, you'll draw the Moon Mirror Shield off the top, hopefully, and then just be able to re-equip it again and do the same shenanigans over and over again. So Moon Mirror Shield overall is just a really good card for the deck. Makes it to where it can win the game a lot faster, honestly, and just have a easier time getting over monsters. Then for the field spells, we have the 2 Necro Valley and the 1 Seal of Orichalcos. I've talked about enough with Necro Valley how good of a Floodgate is right now against this meta, and it's also a field spell which doesn't take up your back row, which is very important in combination with Card Demise. And the 1 Seal of Orichalcos I still like in here, being able to bump up some of my monsters like Dinah to 1700, Banisher to 2100, Thunderbird 2450 is really good. And then if I do have like 2 rabbits on board, 2 Thunderbirds on board, or a bear and a Banisher on board with the same attack, then my opponent can't attack either of them, which means I'll have a hard time getting over them. Then for Searcher cards, we have the 2 Fire Formation 10-key and the 1 Terraforming. I have the 4 targets with 10-key, the 3 rabbits and 1 bear, and then Terraforming I have the 3 targets with the 3 field spells. I was highly considering playing Gravekeeper's Commandant, since it is a monster that can also discard to search for Necro Valley, but I wanted to instead play the Terraforming just because I may also want to search Seal of Orichalcos in some situations. Then for the final spell, we have the 1 Raigeki. So that's it for spells. For traps, we have the Triple Dark Bribe. I used to play Forbidden Lance in this deck. It's actually been a while since I've updated this deck on the channel, probably I think since September. But I really like Dark Bribe right now. especially with the emergence of counter traps like Solemn Strike and Chaos Trap Hole in the meta. Just gets over a lot of cards that Forbidden Lance doesn't really help as much with. And as I've said before with the Barrier Statue deck profile, you don't care that much about giving your opponent a card if it means that you're protecting your established board or if you're stopping a power play of theirs. Then we have the triple Solemn Strike for effect negation and also for negating entire special summons. Next we have the 2 lose 1 turn. This card's even better without Black Garden, because with Black Garden there would be a lot of times where I would have a Rose Token on field that would special summon off a Garden, and then it would make it to where I couldn't activate lose 1 turn. But of course I don't have to worry about that anymore. And it's just really good to be able to negate any special summon monsters' effects when they come on field and also switch into defense position, which just means I'm buying myself a bit more time, and I may actually be able to more easily beat over those monsters with lower defense. Then for some battle protection, we have the 2 Mirror Force. You could play Storing Mirror Force or even Quaking Mirror Force in its place, but I really like Mirror Force combined with like Necro Valley, Banish of the Radiance, and Macrocosmos. Just either being able to banish all those monsters that are in attack position, or say send them to graveyard where under Necro Valley they can't do a whole lot. It's just really, really good. Then for 1-up traps, we have the 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, the 1 Macrocosmos, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Torrential Tribute, and finally the 1 Vanity's Emptiness. An interesting thing about the ratios of some of the cards in the main deck, I have a total of 4 Special Summon Hindrance cards with Vanity's Emptiness, 2 lose 1 turns, and the Fossil Dyna. Then I have a total of 4 Graveyard Hindrance cards with the 2 Necro Valley, Macrocosmos, and Banish of the Radiance. Then I also have 4 board wipe cards with the Torrential Tribute, 2 Mirror Force, and the 1 Regeki. So I try to keep kind of balanced with that to make sure that I have those cards for being able to lock down my opponent or to be able to stop their plays. So that is it for the main deck. Total of 40 cards. It's 8 monsters, 17 spells, and 15 traps. Now on to the extra deck. So for rank 3s, we have Ghostrick Alucard, Mech-Whipped Engineer, number 30 Acid Golem, number 49 Fortune Tune, and then finally the Super Quantum Blue Layer guy. I don't really know the full name. I will say that if I did own a Break Sword, I'd probably take out number 49 Fortune Tune for the Break Sword, but I don't really feel like paying the money that it's worth right now just for a card I'll barely ever go into. Of course, this extra deck you'll barely ever touch at all, especially with card demise and the low monster count that this deck has. Then for rank 4s, we have Abyss Dweller, Castel, Dark Rebellion, Diamond Dire Wolf, especially good in combination with Wind Up Rabbit, just being able to chain it away so you don't lose anything off of Dire Wolf. You can do the same thing with Break Sword as well if you do own it. The 1 Cowboy, 101, 106 Giant Hand. Then for our final Xyz, we have number 39 Utopia, Utopia the Lightning, and then finally S39 Utopia Prime. Prime's actually a really funny card that can just randomly win you the game when you have no business winning it in like the most random situations. You can overlay on top of a Utopia to make him, and then if your opponent has 3,000 or more life points than you do, you can pay life points until you have only 10 left, destroy as many Special Summon monsters as they control as possible, and banish them, and then they take 300 damage times the amount of monsters that were destroyed this way. And it does have 25-10 attack, which just adds to the comedic side of this card, honestly. Just the life point totals that you'll have with this card is kind of funny. And it can really get you out of a tight spot randomly if that situation ever comes up. So figure why not have it, you know? So that's it for the extra deck. Now to wrap it up with the side deck. So starting off, we have the 2 Archfiend Eccentric, basically for the same reason as I had in the Barrier Statue deck, just as the 4th and 5th MST that I can play in the Pendulum Zone and dump out my hand for card demise. Then we have the 2 Lecter, obviously for the Magispector matchup, and for other random Pendulum matchups as well. Being able to negate the effects of Pendulum monsters on field is really, really good. And also being able to beat over them in battle with this card can be useful as well. Then for the final monster on the side, we have the 1 Neospatian Grand Mole, kind of like a walking Moon Mirror Shield in a way. Just being able to bounce any monster that it attacks with, along with itself, is just really, really good for getting over like floaters and just annoying monsters. Then we have the triple MST for annoying back row, especially like things like Royal Decree. The 1 Dark Hole, if we're going second and we need some more massive removal. The triple Basket Restrict for the Monarch matchup, which can be a very tough matchup for this deck, especially game 1. The 2 Chaos Trample, this is something we'll side in for Solemn Strikes if we're going against Monarchs, or if we're going against, say, Burning Abyss or PK Fire, where Strike isn't as good. Then for the final side card, we have the 1 Soul Drain. So that is it for this updated deck profile for my anti-meta Chainbeat deck. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and feel free to follow me on Twitch as well. My username there is DrewDex. If you want to follow me for some live Xbox One gaming. And I hope to catch you guys next time.